call to order, and in attendance and in a quorum, we have Liz Golden, Barry Bellardinelli, Mark Jackson, Eric Chandler, and Dana Laird. Do we have any public participation? I don't think so. Reports from boards. We don't have Diane, so we do have Susie.
I'm here.
Are you still muted? You're ready to go. Okay, Susie, we're ready for you because Diane couldn't make it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So the first interesting thing is you may have seen on our social media that our Randolph Rogers statue that is usually in our drawing room of Florence and Edwin Lockwood has been removed for restoration. Finally, after several years of having galas and raising the funds to restore it, we were able to find enough funding to do that. And so the statue, as well as the base, which is by the Herder brothers, left the house and should be back in a few months. Today we received an inquiry from a TV station. They're working on a series that you may have seen. It's called American Dynasty. It's a historical series on all the American families, the most prominent American families. They would like to come and film for 3 days in March. So we're talking about that. The lecture series is being launched on March 12th, Sunday, with Eve Kahn, who's an award-winning scholar, and will continue on April 23rd with Carl Raymond, who you may have heard of the history podcast, The Bower Boys. And he's going to be coming to talk about the Gilded Tables. We also signed up Sean Sawyer, who's the president of Olana, on May 21st, who will talk about Frederick Church and his legacy. And on June 11, we have the great-grandson of the president, Ulysses Grant, who his name is Ulysses Dietz, Grant Dietz, and he will be talking about growing up in the Grant family and what that meant for him, and also coming out. We're also planning a baseball lecture and a lecture on finance this fall. And we're doing the scavenger hunt in collaboration with our park institutions. That will be on June 4th. And the old-fashioned flea market this year will not be held in September, but on August 27, because of all the various religious observances in September and other events going on. Thank you so much for all your support. And if you have any questions for me, let me know.
Thanks. Okay. Next up, I guess David isn't here. Buildings, cemeteries, and financials. I did take a look at Pine Island. It looks good. We'll probably have to arrange some sort of cleanup when the snow is gone. And we can't talk about the demolition delay without Tom, but I can say that we'll probably be sticking with the 120 days. We weren't able to get up to 180 days because of people didn't feel it was fair on the commissions. Now my brain stopped working. So many Zoomings. That was a Zoom meeting that worked for me last week on Tuesday. So Tom will fill us in next time. So now we're up to new business with Darren.
Hi, so I'm going to actually turn it over to Liz because as you can hear, I'm on week 2 of bronchitis and have no voice. But in a nutshell, and I'll let Liz go through the nitty gritties, I've gone through the ceramics collection and some of the furniture collection at the Norwalk Historical Society and the Norwalk Historical Commission's museum collection. And there's a bunch of things that have no local significance or were collected in order to be display objects. So they're really not anything of note locally that I would like to deaccession. Liz, I'll let you expand on that. And if anybody has any questions, I'm here. You're muted, Liz.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Sign language.
Myself, Eric, and Lisa went over half a day with Darren to take a look at these items. And as Darren said, we all had a consensus that these items are not significant to the history of Norwalk and or broken, with, you know, some other examples in the collection. The broken pieces are not worth being conserved. All items are not in keeping with the current collections policy. And we jointly recommend deaccessioning these items with the exception of the broken items and a doll's tea set, which will be donated to Historic Rowayton. And all the other items are eligible for auction, and proceeds will be channeled back into a separate fund specifically for the maintenance of collections. And as I said, all 3 of us have seen these items and unanimously voted to recommend deaccessioning.
Okay, great. So now we have to make a motion. Who's gonna to vote? How about Mark?
Make a motion
Okay.
to deaccess the items that were recommended by Darren, Liz, and Eric.
And Lisa.
And Lisa.
Lisa was there too. And can I
And
second
Lisa.
it? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All in favor of deaccessioning? Is that 1, 2, 3, 4? I can't count. Oh, yes. Unanimous. 5-0. So that's it.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. Next up on our list is scheduling a public hearing. Is Michelle is here to help out with that. So I think we need 2 weeks notice. It has to be in the newspaper.
Correct.
Oh, yes. So the whole time frame, I'm a little bit confused on, but
So
Yeah.
a legal notice has to be posted twice in the newspaper, which our department will cover. I think the first notice has to be published 10 to 15 days prior to the hearing date. And then there's another one that has to follow within the next like 2 days. So I'm not sure. I might line up nicely just to perhaps have it at your next meeting, but I also don't know how far along the demo delay is or how the urgency is or.
I forget why I invoked it, but we're still I'm sure within 120 days, or it's a little different because I invoked it. I'm still haven't got this all straight in my brain about, we had the walkthrough on January 13th. At that point, I think I had already put it in. I guess I need a separate calendar, and when I put in demolition delays. But that's well within 120 days. I'll probably have to reread that stuff about demolition delays, but if we do combine the two meetings, because that's in 3 weeks, that could be kind of an easy way out for everyone scheduling wise. So does everyone, I think that should work out then.
Would that be a live meeting then? An in-person meeting?
How does that work now, Michelle? We'd have any live meetings for public hearings or?
So pretty much it's gonna be the same exact thing, how you run your meetings, because these meetings are live as well, anybody could come on. The only added is that this meeting will be notified in the newspaper ultimately, but it will be in your agenda, and then it'll be noticed in the newspaper, and then if people want to come and participate, we'll give them instructions to do so, and they can come and speak. But that's ultimately nothing will change. Planning and zoning
No,
has
no,
public.
what I mean
I
is
think, yeah, in person, right?
No,
in-person
it
meeting.
will run just like the Zoom meetings.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Eric so wanted to meet us again. No. And our adoring public, but yeah, so that sounds like it, because we're all used to the fourth Wednesday. So let's do that. Another thing I want to add on, can I do that, is about,
Listen, before you
sorry.
move on,
oh yeah,
you move
we have to
on,
vote on that, right? Something?
I thought that the project had been approved.
It was, but we put it, I mean, can't we still have our say? Again, Tom would be here, but Tom is a man who wears many hats.
So
Yeah,
we did have a brief meeting that kind of went over with Corporation Council, kind of giving us more guidance on, the purview of the demolition delay and the Historical Commission's responsibilities, and then the Planning and Zoning's responsibilities. So, and there's not like a crossover between the two. So, your ability to do the public hearing is within the ordinance of the Historical Commission, which you guys are able to do, and then the Planning and Zoning Commission kind of had their own alley, which they proceeded with.
Okay.
right. Because if we let this go and the public wasn't happy with it, it would be our fault, kind of thing. Yeah, so we do have to let the public speak out on that.
All right. I just want to make sure we weren't engaging in an exercise in futility.
Okay. So let's say that the 22nd will also be a public hearing about 31 through 35 South Main Street. One other thing was that demolition, intent to demolish, wasn't even intent to demolish, but the fellow that wants to take down 2 houses on Rockland Road. Did you all look at that, and how do you feel about that? I think we should just let it go. Do we have to vote on that, or how does that work? I don't have Tom to help me, so maybe.
Yeah, I think I would just, on the side of caution, this is a special meeting, so
Right.
once the meeting is set, voting on things that aren't published on the agenda might be an
Okay.
issue. I think, I'm not sure, you may be able to add something with like a majority's vote, but I'm not 100% sure, so I just don't want to leave you,
Right,
but maybe put it on the next or,
okay.
yeah.
Then I guess, and then anyone else has anything to add? I think we're done for tonight.
Then I move to adjourn the meeting.
Second, can I do that? Oh, I guess so. Thanks everyone for sticking around for another week. I know you sat at your computers waiting for the meeting to get on. No. All right. Good night, everyone.
Okay, good night.
Good night.
Right.